One day, the world suddenly changed. Monsters began to appear from portals that emerged all over the planet. At the same time, some people gained extraordinary powers and superhuman abilities. These individuals are called hunters, and they risk their lives to fight against the monsters. In the next scene, we see one of these portals, with several people around it, apprehensive. One of them wonders how much longer it will take and comments that it seems like someone is inside. Another person says, even the most powerful hunters struggle with that. Suddenly, one of the people pays attention and exclaims, "Look, someone's coming out." We see a man emerging with a smoking sword as the portal begins to close behind him. This man, who appeared quite old, is greeted with cheers as the portal closes. He seemed very tired, and his name is Guak Pilseong. Pilseong was a man who cleared numerous portals, many of these dungeons, impossible rifts. He was 60 years old, but managed to be called the legendary hunter. However, one day, Pilseong vanished like smoke and was never seen again. Only rumors about him remained. Meanwhile, we see a scene 10 years later. "I'm telling you, I'm Guak Pilseong," says an elderly man. "Yeah, sure you are," responds a young man. "This damn brat, I don't believe a word he says." "Here we go again. What happened to him?" asks another. "Oh, he always goes on about being Guak Pilseong. It doesn't make sense. Why would he be in a nursing home in the middle of nowhere?" "Well, you never know. Same name, same age, or maybe he was just a fraud." "Yeah, that makes more sense. If I were a hunter, I wouldn't want to be stuck in the middle of nowhere. I just want to get out of this job." Suddenly, a very tired man enters the nursing home, looking breathless. The nurses rush to see what's happening, but he tells everyone to run. Behind him, one of the dungeon monsters appears, a giant 3-meter-tall cockroach. The man ends up being caught and, in desperation, asks for help, but the nurse can't do anything. He watches the man get killed right in front of him. When the nurse is about to be attacked by the creature, Pilseong appears to save him, using what seems to be an improvised weapon, a knife. He finishes off the creature. The nurse remains in shock, unable to get up. "Kid, what are you still doing here? Get up if you don't want to die," shouts Pilseong. "Grandpa Pilseong, there are more of them. Take them out. You hide. Can you do that alone?" "Grandpa, I'll see what I can do." "No way. This guy is really Guak Pilseong. What is he doing in a place like this?" We see Pilseong leaving the nursing home and observing a scene of a portal from where giant ants are coming out. He is at a high point, watching where they are emerging from. How did the association let things get this bad, he thinks, until one of the insects detects him and starts alerting the others that he is there. "Yeah, looks like they spotted me. Guess it's time to stretch these old bones," he said, charging at the monsters without fear, with a kitchen knife in hand. On the first attempt, he manages to stab the knife, but the creature is still alive. The second one tries to catch him by surprise, but he steps on its head and knocks it down. When a third tries to take advantage of the opportunity to attack him, he prepares and shouts, "Take this, you filthy bugs," and manages to deliver an attack that finishes them all off at once. After that, he is extremely out of breath, very tired, and thinks, "Damn, I'm really getting old, running out of breath just dealing with these little bugs. If I were at least 10 years younger." But suddenly, another insect appears behind him, this time a much larger praying mantis than the other ants. Obviously, it faces our protagonist, who seems to be in trouble now. "Are you the leader of these bugs here?" he asks. But the creature isn't interested in conversation and charges at him. Pilseong tries to defend himself with a knife, but it doesn't work, and he is thrown far away. While still recovering from the blow, the insect keeps stalking him. When it is about to attack again, Pilseong seizes the opportunity and stabs the mantis in the face. The monster doesn't take it lightly, lifts its head, taking Pilseong with it, and throws him against a tree. He coughs up a lot of blood, already very weak, but even the monster seems tired after all this. Finally, Pilseong decides to end the fight. Finally you're done. Okay, it's time to finish this." He uses his ability to finish off the insect, splitting its head in half. The monster finally falls dead to the ground. Looks like Guak Pilseong isn't dead yet, he thinks, but then immediately contradicts himself, coughing and collapsing on the ground, exhausted. "Has my body reached its limit? If I were at least 10 years younger, these bugs wouldn't stand a chance. If I manage to finish this dungeon, I'll die as a hunter." Suddenly, a system message appears, saying that he successfully cleared the dungeon and, as a reward, will receive something special that reflects his deepest desire. What? What? A special reward? He receives the blessing of God. Immortality. A special reward. I've never heard of that, but it happened just now. The system continues, stating that with this blessing, he will be completely immune to aging. We see his hand rejuvenate completely. The system also warns that the portal will disappear soon. Some people approach the portal, saying it's closing, and someone spots Pilseung unconscious nearby. He wakes up with a nurse calling, "Sir, sir, can you hear me? Sir, where am I? Sir, you're at the 20th Hospital of Seoul. You were severely injured during the dungeon events and were brought here urgently. I need to ask some questions to fill out your information. What's your name?" "My name is Guak Pilseung. I was born on May 31st, 80 years ago." "Oh, did you say 80 years? Are you deaf?" "Young lady, how many times do I have to say it?" "Yes, I'm 80 years old." In reality, his appearance had completely changed. He doesn't look 80 years old. We see the scene from outside, and it looks like he's in a commercial building in a metropolis, no longer in the countryside. "So, you're telling me you're 83 years old now? How many times do I have to repeat myself?" "Huh? Yes, I'm 83 years old. It's okay to look surprised, miss. I know I look much younger. I know I'm 80, but I look like I'm 70, right?" The nurse thinks, "Actually, you look 60 years younger." At this moment, he notices the mirror in the room and realizes he looks much younger. "What happened to my body?" the nurse thinks. "It seems this man hit his head pretty hard. I'll call the doctor. Wait here for a moment, okay?" What happened? He remembers the scene where he was almost dying and the system screen appeared to him. "So, what I saw wasn't an illusion. I had seen people receiving skills and artifacts as dungeon rewards, but blessings as rewards, and one that rejuvenates. This is beyond anything I've ever heard." He starts admiring himself in the mirror. Instead of standing here, I should seek help." The nurse returns to the room and calls for him, but when she notices, he's no longer in bed. He's already outside, observing another building. "It's been a long time since I've been here. When was the last time I set foot in the association? Must have been, I don't know, a decade ago." He enters. It's quite crowded. Looks like a busy place. Looks a bit different from the last time I saw it. He approaches someone for information. "How do I handle some matters here at the association? If you need service, you have to get a token from that kiosk over there." "K kiosk? What is that?" He tries to use the electronic token dispenser to get a ticket and gets super confused because this wasn't from his time. "How do I get this thing? Huh?" Then someone places a hand on his shoulder and says, "Hey, kid, I'm in a hurry. Move aside." People around start talking about the situation. "Hey, that's the S-rank hunter from Sick. Oh, here he comes again. This guy always causes trouble. Hey, youngster, can't you see there are people behind you? You need to wait in line like everyone else. Who do you think you are to talk to me like that? Huh? How old are you?" "Stop it," says a tall man in a refined suit. Fighting is prohibited inside the association's premises. The same people who were whispering before start talking about him too. "Hey, that's the SS-ranked adventurer, Park Seok-chin. It's really him. It's the first time I've seen an S-rank." Seok-chin thinks to himself, "These academy folks think I, a noble S-rank hunter, need to clean up the messes of their miserable little lives." The crowd comments. As expected of Seok-chin, his presence is no joke. The other guy who is trying to start trouble apologizes with his head down. People continue to comment. "Look at those arms of his. Even the DCI looks tiny next to him. This guy is the epitome of masculinity." Seok-chin thinks, "I'm flattered by these compliments. I guess I am the epitome of masculinity, aren't I?" Pilseung looks at him and analyzes. "Why do you seem so familiar to me?" Huh? Park Seok-chin thinks, "Who is this little guy? I don't think I've ever seen him before." "Ah, you're Park the Trashman, aren't you? It's you, isn't it? You're Park the Trashman." People start whispering. What does he mean? Why did he just call Park Seok-chin Park the Trashman? Is that a nickname? "Hey, Trashman, how's it going? How long has it been since we last met? Huh? You used to have a younger face. Seems like time really caught up with you, huh?" Pilseung keeps talking while people keep murmuring. Seok-chin is getting more and more irritated by the nickname. 10 years ago, he changed his name to something more rustic and thinks, "How does this brat know my old name?" Pilseung continues, "I have something to ask you." Seok-chin interrupts. "That's enough." He grabs Pilseung by the collar. "You brat. Who do you think you are? You've become a bit rude since the last time I saw you. Huh? Didn't you say fighting was prohibited here?" Seok-chin realizes this, gets nervous, but composes himself. seems I got carried away a bit. Follow me. Let's go somewhere else. Let me give you a warning. Don't think you'll get away with this. Pilseong finds himself in a large space covered with tatami mats and asks, when did the association build this facility here? And what exactly is this place? This is an area designated for hunters to have matches. But more importantly, who the hell are you? And how do you know my name? You foolish boy, it's me, Guak Pilseong. I had some circumstances that made me look like this. Seems like you don't want to answer. Huh. Pilseong is startled because he did answer truthfully. I tried to resolve this peacefully, says Seokjin, as he prepares to use his ability. But after you feel this, you'll spill everything you know. Why are you so angry at your age? Huh, what? He dodged my attack so easily. As I was saying, as you get older, you have to stay more relaxed. Man, the more I look at you, the more intrigued I am to know who you are. Enough of this nonsense, says Seokjin, transforming into a werewolf. His ability is called Beast, and his transformation is into a war werewolf. From now on, I'll take this seriously. Let's see if you can dodge this too. He charges at Pilseong in his beast form. He strikes Pilseong, who tries to block, but feels the attack is very strong. This one's gonna hurt a bit, says Seokjin, slashing Pilseong with his claws. Even while blocking, Pilseong is thrown far, hitting the wall hard and raising dust. Seokjin observes, looks like I overdid it a bit. Actually, I think it was too much for you. Seokjin is shocked to see that Pilseong is still conscious, but now it's our protagonist's turn to strike back. Incredible, my S-rank attack had no effect on him? Pilseong, with a smile, charges his ability and says, this is gonna hurt. He strikes Seokjin so hard that he falls to the ground, unable to get up. Pilseong looks at Seokjin lying there. He hasn't gotten up yet. Damn, did I go too far? He's not dead, right? The people comment. Apparently, Trashman was his nickname because his name was Dabin. His original name is actually Dabin. Bin can be translated as Trashkin, so his name is Park Dabin. We see Dabin's perspective now. He thinks, I thought hunters with destructive and barbaric powers couldn't align with the beauty I saw. We see Park Dabin at 25 years old and Pilseong still old. Dabin, are you okay? Oh, my back is killing me. We see Pilseong on top of a huge pile of monsters. Mr. Pilseong, but after meeting him, I realized the purity of power. Dabin, you need to exercise a bit more. This purity is more beautiful than anything in the world. Back to the present. Someone calls out to Dabin. Dabin, are you awake? Ah, Mr. Pilseong, it's good that you're alive. Are you an idiot for attacking someone you haven't seen in 10 years? Did I teach you to act like that, kid? But Dabin doesn't react. So, that means you. Seems like I didn't hit you enough, huh? So that's what happened. A blessing is like a passive ability that's always active. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Ah, looks like you don't know much about it either. Huh, sorry for not being much help. We see that Dabin's body is fully exposed, his muscles gleaming. For God's sake, put on some clothes while we're talking. Ah, sorry. My clothes tore because of my ability. Never mind, don't worry about it. Since the portals appeared, this world is full of surprises. For me, becoming young again is good enough, no matter the reason. So, now that you're young again, are you going to return to being a hunter? Imagine people hearing that Guak Pilseong is back. Dabin, calm down. I don't want anyone to know I'm back. You know why I decided to retire and stay alone for the past 10 years? Actually, I don't. Tong, be sick. Young, do you remember them? When Dabin hears these names, he becomes a bit scared. How could I forget them? They all sacrificed themselves to protect me. Thanks to them, I was able to finish many dungeons. I would do the same to save you. Sir, you are more important than all of us. That's exactly why I disappeared. My existence became too significant for people. But is it really right for this old man to survive thanks to younger people? I'm afraid that will keep happening. I can't bear to see people younger than me dying for me. Well, if that's your wish, sir, I'll keep it a secret. But then, what are you planning now? Well, I was thinking about what to do now. Actually, there's something I want to ask you. The scene changes. We see Pilseong looking at his wrist and saying, ah, you said the green ones are rank D, right? Well, this makes it easy to recognize a person's rank at a glance. He recalls the moment he was talking to Dabin. I need you to go to a rank D dungeon to investigate something for me. A rank D dungeon. I have some concerns about the investigation. I can't say much yet, but I want you to help me with this. I need your strength by my side to be prepared for anything. Okay? If that's how I can help, I'll do everything I can. He thinks, what kind of situation specifically needs my help? Suddenly, someone pushes Pilseong. Hey, kid, get out of the way, you jerk. If you bump into someone, you should apologize. What? Apologize? This guy here just got promoted to rank C. Do you think a rank D rookie like you could last a minute against him? Looks like it's your first dungeon raid. So, get out of here while you still can. This guy is a D rank hunter, the leader of the Scorpion gang, and his name is Wang Scorpion. You're pretty lucky. Huh, he says. Our protagonist thinks, what insolent bastards. There's always jerks who judge by appearances. You shouldn't pay much attention to that. These guys always mess with the newbies. What's your name, student? Our protagonist thinks, me, a student? My name is Kim Chiolman. Nice to meet you. Guak Pilseong. Oh, the same name as the legendary hunter. You look pretty young. How old are you? I turned 80 this year. 80? Oh, you mean 18. 18 years old this year. Look at that. The same age as my son. These dungeons are pretty lucrative for kids, aren't they? My son just stays home playing video games, but you're quite impressive. The protagonist thinks, if I had a son, he'd probably be your age, sir. Look at that. It seems there's a cute little friend among these nasty men, says one of the huntresses behind them. I'm Park Jai Hyan, 24 years old, and this here is my friend, Lee Yoon Jin. And you are Guak Pilseong, right? Nice to meet you. She gives him a kiss on the cheek. What are you doing, woman? It's my way of greeting. Meanwhile, the guy smiles at him, congratulating him, and he thinks, youth is so beautiful. What youth? I'm 80 years old. Hunter Guak Pilseong, says a man in very formal attire, like a suit, with a sword at his waist. Who are you? Hello, I'm Kim Taejun, a C-rank hunter, and I'm the raid leader for today. Nice to meet you. I've been looking forward to working with you. By the way, what's your relationship with Mr. Seokjin? It's a bit hard to recommend someone. Actually, he's a friend of my brother-in-law's cousin. Yes, of course. Adventurers, take your positions. I'll give a brief overview of the plan before we enter the D-rank portal. Okay, I'm Kim Taejun, and I'll be leading this raid today. Most D-rank adventurers have just awakened and registered as hunters, and I believe D-rank hunters have a lot of potential, even more than S-rank hunters. I know some of you are about to be promoted to C-rank. That guy who started the fight earlier is all proud of himself, but still, D-rank dungeons are extremely dangerous and can be very volatile. That's why you must strictly follow my commands to succeed. Making such a fuss over a D-rank dungeon. You really don't understand what caution is, do you? You idiot. It's always good to be prepared. And who do you think you're talking to, you brat? What does a rookie like you know about a dungeon? You've never set foot in one. And experience is what really matters in this kind of situation. As expected, our leader is very cool. These idiots. That's it for our planning. Now let's enter the dungeon. In the next scene, we see a clear blue sky, and the group begins to exit the dungeon portal. As they enter the dungeon, they encounter a completely different scene, a much hotter and arid climate than before. Jai Hyan says, wow, if I'd known it would be like this, I would have brought my sunscreen. Let's finish this quickly and grab a cold one. Desert dungeon. Once everyone's through the portal, let's get this over with. Afterward, we can get a cold drink and some pork rinds. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll scout the area a bit. Hey, how can you guys be so relaxed inside a dungeon? Says Kim Chiolman, starting to recall some specific moments. He remembers Dabin. I thought this would be easy because the gate was small, but it was much harder than I expected. We see Dabin on top of a pile of bodies. That's why you should always pay attention before entering a dungeon and follow my instructions, says Pilseong, standing on a much larger monster. The system indicates that he just defeated the swamp monster. Pilseong continues reflectively. In the past, we judged the dungeon's difficulty by the size of the portal. When that changed, everyone had to assess it personally. But now that we can evaluate it before entering, no one seems nervous about going into a dungeon. So, this is how things are nowadays. Leader, I have a question. How challenging is this D-rank dungeon? This is your first raid, right? They are suitable for someone of D rank like you. But you don't need to worry, because even C rank hunters like me join, so you'll be safe. That sounds like an efficient plan. But what if the dungeon is harder than expected? The leader is left speechless until the big guy with the axe interrupts. If you're scared, you can go back through the portal you came from. No one will say anything. Don't scare the kid like that. I've said this many times, but you don't need to worry. That will never happen because the association has already investigated the dungeon and assessed its difficulty before the raid. And how can I trust that? It's been over 5 years since the dungeon metrics have been commercialized, and there hasn't been a single report of incorrect perfect metrics. So, you shouldn't worry so much. Ah, that's true. Of course it is. Why do these newbies always start an argument? Huh? And you, why have you been grumbling since we got here? The guy gets really pissed and charges at Chiolman. What did you just say? You jerk? I'm just warning you that it's better not to make too much noise inside a dungeon. He laughs loudly. Are you getting scared? That's exactly how all newbies act. Ah, do you want to know why? Suddenly, a huge snake appears heading towards them. Everyone panics, shouting, "It's a monster! It's a monster!" The guy who was messing with Chiolman is in complete shock, and the snake charges at him. Luckily, Chiolman is very swift and decapitates the snake in a single strike, saving the guy. All he hears is the heavy body of the snake hitting the ground. How did he do that? That was so fast. You'd better heed my warning. A noisy person like you is usually the first target of a monster, says Chiolman. The guy stays silent, but is furious inside. Jai Hyan calls the leader, looking at the monster's body. Is this monster really D rank? I don't think I've ever seen it before. The leader thinks, this is definitely strange. Usually, D rank monsters are like big dogs or large insects. This monster seems to be C rank. I have a very bad feeling about this. In the next scene, we switch to another place inside the same dungeon. A woman says, "Ah, Jai Woo, what do we do now? We don't need to worry. Let's wait a bit longer and hope everything turns out fine. For God's sake, we need adults to help us. Stop it. We can't rely on them. You saw how dangerous it is out there, but this is no time to be stubborn," Jai Woo said. It seems another monster heard them, and soon after, we hear a roar. A huge snake appears in the cave, and the next prey is the two of them. They panic completely and scream loudly inside the cave. Meanwhile, Chiolman's group continues walking under the sun, but the leader is very worried about what he saw earlier. That monster really didn't look like a D rank. I can't show my concern in front of them. That monster seemed like a C rank. The leader turns to Pilseong, who notices he's being watched. No, this can't be right, the leader thinks. Pilseong asks, "What is it? Do you have something to say to me?" The leader thinks, if that monster is C rank or higher, how did this kid, on his first raid, kill it so easily? Could this dungeon be above D rank? He is very concerned about this. No, there's never been a metric error. It must be my imagination. Meanwhile, the bald guy is suffering a lot from the heat and is very sweaty. Hey, leader, we've been walking under this sun for 30 minutes. When are we going to stop? I know everyone here looks tired, so let's take a break here. Ah, it's so hot and my feet are killing me. Feels like a military march. Pilseong thinks they're stopping after just 30 minutes of walking. People these days have no stamina. Suddenly, something starts to block out the sun, and the bald guy notices. Why is the sun being covered? It's another snake, so big that it blocks the sun and is lurking, waiting for them to let their guard down. Ah, this is stranger than the other one. Could it be the boss? Says the leader, desperate. Everyone, get ready for battle. It looks like this is the monster boss. The snake is so huge that it crawls over the mountains. The bald guy looks at Pilseong and thinks, ah, you embarrassed me earlier. Huh, now I'll prove myself. He runs with his axe and says, I can handle this alone. Be careful, it's dangerous. Watch closely as I take down this boss. But the snake doesn't seem very happy and has a very powerful aura around it. At that moment, it shields itself by forming a cocoon with its scales, and when he hits it with the axe, it has no effect. In fact, it does have an effect. Sparks fly off the axe because the snake's scales are so tough. Ah, it's not working. Pilseong thinks, how reckless, attacking the monster in its defensive form. These hunters have the wrong mindset. The bald guy gets tired of hitting the snake's scales, and when he lets his guard down, it emerges from the cocoon and is about to attack him. He thinks, damn, I'm screwed. The snake lunges to bite him, but the leader saves him. Are you okay? Ah, I think I'm fine. Everyone, fall back. This one is going to be very difficult to handle. Since I'm the only C rank here, I need to take it down. This time, he charges at the snake, but when he uses his katana, it has no effect on the snake's skin. No, my attack isn't working either. Aim for the head, shouts Pilseong. The leader thinks, the head, right at that spot, isn't it? He charges and delivers a stronger attack, managing to cut the snake's neck. As he falls, the snake's head also drops to the ground. Ah, he managed to defeat it. Well done. Leader, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. It was dangerous, but thanks to you, I survived. We defeated it much easier than we should have, and it's all thanks to Mr. Pilseong. So, The dungeon is probably cleared, but why didn't anything happen? They realize that no portal has opened. That's strange. Usually, a message appears when the dungeon is cleared. What's going on? Could it not have been the boss? Several other snakes identical to the first one emerge from the mountains. That monster we took so long to defeat wasn't the boss. What the hell? This doesn't make sense. It was supposed to be a D-rank dungeon. You still haven't realized, have you, leader? Do you still think we're in a D-rank dungeon? The leader is in complete shock. The association would never make a mistake with the difficulty. The snakes begin to surround them. What's happening? That's it for today. Folks, don't forget to like. It's very important. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. See you next time. Bye.